evening, everyone. Welcome to In the Know with CaT Bobino. Today, my extra special guest is Patricia Jackson, founder of We Ride Too. How are you doing this evening, Patricia?
I'm doing well, Kat. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. As I mentioned at the top of this, we are live here, or I haven't mentioned yet, but we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I want you to go into the chat, ask questions, be a part of the conversation. But we are going to focus on Miss Pat today. So,
Okay.
how are we doing today? And let's start with where you got started with.
Well, it's through community, one telling another, one supporting another, and finding a way for us to join together. Well, horses play a big role in that. They have shown up to do the work. So here we are. Um, I've always liked animals. I've always had an animal in the family. Always been around animals. But as a grandmother, I began to take on the care of my grandkids, and I says, well, we would do outings and go to local parks, and I would often take them to one of the local stables here and to tire them out and get them a chance to see horses, be outside, go home, have dinner, take a bath, and you're gone with your mom and dad. So it was like a routine, and they began to really enjoy it, and they wanted to ride. They began to know the breeds of horses and what horses were about, and spend time there. So it all began there, really. It began there. Began with exposure, you know. So they were exposed, they wanted to ride, but there was difficulty, you know. Um, People weren't used to seeing Black people ride on horses or want to
Right.
ride horses, or they weren't aware that we rode horses because we were very
Hmm.
much deep in the history. Here regionally in the Bay Area, there's a lot of culture in the Black community around horses and horsemanship and cowboys and rodeos and
Hmm.
you the we ride too. Well, I was told that Black people don't ride, and I says, well, yeah, we ride too.
Yes, we
long
do.
story, long story short, okay. But it kind of,
Absolutely.
yeah, opened my eyes that even though it was in a metropolitan area, many people did not know, and many young people had not been exposed to horses. Many young people had not been exposed to the national forest, the redwoods.
Hmm.
A lot of young kids never got a chance to go and hike or ride their bikes on trails because of geographics, and exposure. So um, that's how We Ride Too started, by a comment telling a person that yes, we do ride. So time went on, and I realized that there was a need. There was a lot of cultural things, a lot of Black people in community here that are still into horses, right here in Oakland.
Hmm.
Um, very, we're very much a community. And so I said, but we're in Oakland. Let me digress. The nonprofit was founded in 2020
Hmm.
after I decided that, yes, we do ride, and that's the name We Ride Too. And I began to want to find ways to get everybody in the community. No one should be told that they don't have access. No young person should be told that they can't ride. So I began to look in Oakland to say we have a city stable. We have young people throughout Oakland. We've got 7 districts. We got a very blend of culture.
Hmm.
There are areas steeped in Asian culture, steeped in Afro American culture, steeped in the Hispanic culture, and we're just so rich here. We're we've got something that it's a window of opportunity, as I see it. So I said, well, we're developing community, and we're going to ride, and we're going to be inclusive, and we're going to have equity, and we're going to form community. Young people are going to form community the way that they're doing now. In the next 10 years, it won't be me. it'll be young people, hopefully, that have come together with We Ride Too at some point. Say, hey, I know so and so that live downtown, down in Second, or deep East Oakland over on 98th, or down by the line to San Leandro and Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
All these young people um, are coming together in with horse excellence, meeting each other, um, practicing their skill, leadership, mentorship, equine sports, equine science, agriculture. Um, we've got it. It's happening. Okay, it's moving. Let me say. So um, uh, we started 2020 one by one, young people from ground to saddle with my mare, Nita. She's an encounter mare. We started there. She's the sweetest animal. Oh my goodness. I'm smitten for each and every one of our horses that are doing the work. So we started there, young people from ground to saddle, touch, feed, groom, walk in hand.
Mm.
The bond, the communication, the listening, the being in the space, singularly, one child at a time for me at first, being there in the moment with the horse, listening with no issue of what's going on outside the gate. When you got to get back to your Zoom calls, that
Your work and
so,
school, virtual school now.
all that stuff. But in the moment, so much happens on the ground in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the connection, the release of anxiety, the ability to have your own authentic self in relationship to something that does not require anything specific of you other than to be in that moment.
That's awesome. So I want to say thank you to the people who have joined us thus far. I see you guys in the chat. Hey, Steve, Sherilyn, and Kelly. If you
Oh,
have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. But I do want to dive into more of what you're talking about. So, not everybody that usually gets on here is from Oakland or been to Oakland. So, Oakland is a kind of big metropolitan city, maybe not as big as some other ones, like let's say Houston or Dallas, but it's a big city.
correct. It's a big
Um,
city.
and there is a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who live in what we call the flatter areas who
Right.
don't go up into the hills.
Exactly.
And it's really, depending on where you are in the flats, it could be a 10-15 minute drive, but there's a lot of youth and a lot of even adults who don't have an opportunity to take that drive. But
Exactly.
when you go up to the hills, we have redwood parks. We have we ride two estuaries, all kinds of opportunities that unfortunately they don't get a chance to see.
Correct.
So what Miss Pat is doing is bringing that to them, or bringing those youth up to that area so they get an opportunity to not only see something they haven't seen but do something they haven't done, and she does it with horses.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. I see a couple of my friends here in the chat too. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Steve. So good to have you guys here. Exactly. Access, geographics, or financial is the
Hmm.
issue. Okay. It may just be um, perhaps getting two community centers, one that has transportation vans and one that does not. District 6 and District 7. District 7 has some transport vans at EOYDC. We could
Hmm.
I'm just guessing, mobility,
Right.
access. Some districts may have transportation and others don't, and we can go to specific point. We're really lucky here, and there's a lot of culture here, and a lot of people have lived in and out of these facilities for a very long time, even before I came along thinking about horses and riding. It's such that I do, and I do ride. I do
Hmm.
ride. Hmm. Um, um,
How long have you been riding?
uh, for about maybe 6 or 7 years. When I began to get my granddaughters involved in riding, once we were told that we couldn't ride, well, that was a determination to ride, because all kids should have the ability to have access to those things or be exposed to those possibilities that might be present for them. Not everybody wants to ride, nor does everybody
Right.
need to ride, but they should have access. So when I decided that not only were my granddaughters going to ride, other kids in Oakland were going to ride too.
Mhm.
And so I decided that I needed to know how to ride, because if I'm going to take a young person into an adventure, but my granddaughters or any other kid, I'm going to know as much as I can about it, and
Mhm.
move forward in that way. So we're growing. A lot of this heartfelt support. Of course, there are obstacles. Of course, there's
Mhm.
politics. Of course, I'm giving a shout out to everybody. I've talked to almost everybody in the city of Oakland about this. I know they know that I'm here, and they've been so gracious with me in listening to what my ideas might be and how it might come to pass. Metropolitan Horsemen's Association, very nice people, gave us access or allowed us access into their central arena. We had 4 horse encounters, 14 kids in the Redwoods on a one-to-one. From
Awesome.
those from those 4 sets of 14, 5 kids went on to study horsemanship at local facilities. Um, um, Danville's Generosity, Haystack Horses, out in Castro Valley. So I began to look for facilities that could provide the service that flow with our mission,
Right.
because we already don't want to feel like we can't be it. We do ride. We have the right. We have the ability to ride. So we had to look for facilities that felt that same mission that was at hand, and many came forward. Castle Rock Arabian, Saddle Up Academy. We sent 3 young kids to summer camp. um, Saddle Up Academy. Very nice trainers there, young people. Um, out to Walnut Creek, Castle Rock Arabians, dressage, Arabian horses. Big skill going on out there. And
That's
our kids are
awesome.
learning it. Our kids are learning it. They're
Yeah.
still ready. I've got kids waiting now. I've got kids little, and guess what? They're going to come to We Ride too, and we're going to do ground to saddle. And everybody that wants to ride is, we're going to find a way for people to ride. So um, I'm talking with the city. If anybody can give a shout out to everybody out there, um, you know, we're on with this. We've got 2 horses at city stables. Now we just added another horse to our herd that's ready to do the work. That's Nola. She came by way of those who know that we're doing work and want to help us out, and sending us good horses for our kids. We got Denver. Denver came through some joint performance. They fast forwarded us quick money to get Denver, and Denver's definitely doing the work. He came from a cowboy that had 2 young boys and 5 dogs.
Oh wow.
So trust me, this horse
He
is bomb proof.
right. That's how
Okay,
I need to follow you, Miss Jackson, to
you need to come on
talk to
over.
these council members about STEM. I'm trying to bring more STEM to these kids.
It's STEM going on.
And
There's
yes,
STEM
oh yeah.
going on. All
All of this,
kinds of opportunities.
yeah, this falls right under the S for me. It falls right under the science
Yep,
and just understanding horses and being around wildlife
it's
and
big.
out in the
It's big.
fields. It's all falls under the S for me.
Now let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about the impact that it's had upon us. Let's
Hmm.
talk about the probable stressors and the probable traumas that we all are feeling in some way or another as a result of it.
Oh yes, it's COVID has taught us or showed us, number one, the trauma of either losing a job, not being able to be around family, or being around family too much, and having to
That's
do
stress.
virtual learning when
Of
you've
course.
never done it before. It's very
Mhm.
stressful.
It's very stressful. Um, Outside, pods of 8 kids at a time. Here's my dream. Pods of eight, twice a week. That's four. That's 16 kids coming through a week. Oh well, we can talk about that later. But we can talk about that later. But we all need a space that's in and of ourselves
Mhm.
to be outside. The horse is ready for that work. The horse is nonverbal, but the horse is very much communicative,
Mhm.
very much in the work of forming a relationship with you. And most of us don't have those kinds of relationships that will allow us to go and bond in other ways, in other relationships. There are limitations, there's boundaries, there's ways of listening, there's ways of being patient,
Mhm.
there's, there's ways of following and being led. You know, there are fears that must be overcome. Okay, that's not rocket science. But
No.
add the stress. The horse is there to do the work. Short note: there's study that's been done. Mind Body Institute is doing studies where they are doing studies on the synchronization and the synergy between human and horse. It has to do with biorhythms and magnetic field that's connected to the heart.
Mhm.
The horse's heart is much bigger than ours. We know we have an electrical field. Okay, very powerful. The heart, very full. The contact, the giving, the subtleties that come from the heart with the horse. Okay, there are studies that have shown that humans and horses can sync their heart rates together.
There are many foundations out there that deal with youth, not just youth, but people with disabilities, people who are nonverbal, people who have ADHD, who have worked with horses, and they've been able to kind of bring them out of their shell, get them to do more rhythmic things, and giving them an
Yes,
opportunity to learn so much
yes,
about themselves,
correct,
and the families get to learn
correct.
so much about them.
The human experience, no matter the variable or the shade, to what extent I or anybody else maybe ought to have some autism or
Hmm.
some kind of just learning and or relationship abilities. But all of those things that you've mentioned, very well documented in the treatment of autism,
Hmm.
disabilities, motor, functional disabilities, equine therapy, riding, which I must say that, oh, it's just a wonderful thing.
It
It's a
is.
wonderful.
I had the opportunity growing up in Oakland to go up to the stables when I was a kid and do a couple of riding. I never really got into it, or at least my family didn't really get into it because I've always loved animals. But
Mm,
it's amazing to get on horses, let them lead you where they're going, and be in their hands, And I've had
yeah,
experiences on horses in other states and things like that. And horses are majestic creatures, and they'll tell you if
yes.
they don't like you. And they
You'll get to know it, and you'll have a talk about it with them. And if you
Mhm.
listen, you can work through those things that may be those barriers that transfers over into other relationships as well. Um, you're so on, Kat. You're so on. You're
Yes. So
so on.
we've I don't want to people to think we're not thinking about you. I see you guys in the chat. The first one is
Please talk
Steve.
about the relationship of confidence, compassion when a young person is. Confidence and compassion. Steve wants me to talk about confidence and compassion. Um, when you meet such a majestic animal, a horse can be anywhere from 1,100 to 1,200 pounds. Okay. Um, when you are able to engage such an animal, touch him, feed him, walk him, primarily to move the feet. When you begin to move the horse's feet, there is a confidence that comes from being
Mhm.
able to do that. And our young people do it often. Well, it's at the final stages before riding: touch, feed, groom, walk in hand. When you're at walk in hand, and we can trust you with all of that by yourself, trust me, you're pretty much ready to ride if we've got the right steed, because the confidence is there. you know. Um, and once a kid does that, there's so much compassion
Mhm.
for the art of it, the desire to do it, the willingness to do things to help to support it. Young kids come and help at the barn. They move. We do agriculture. We move things around. We move earth around, and we take very good care of our horses. We learn lots of things about our horses. Okay, so that's the compassion and that's the confidence. Certainly you become more confident. Yes, Steve, definitely. Confidence is there. Post-traumatic stress, of course, we're experiencing it now ourselves. I'm looking in the Cheryl Lynn, and then Travis says,
Mhm.
"Speak to the truth, and thank you. Speak the truth."
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the truth is here, and it's a window of opportunity. Now's the time. Um, Everyone can join in the process. Horses are community. My main goal is to bring all the kids of Oakland from all the districts of Oakland
Mhm.
and bring them together in the process. And the goal is to build community and to become excellent horsemen.
Mhm.
That's the goal, which means that when we join together and we're all together, I take care of myself so that everybody else will be taken care of, and so on, and so on, and so on. Thus, the group comes together, and we're going to have fun. We're not going to be messing around. I'm getting a hoodie together. I need some young artists. Hey, we're getting ready to ride. And these young people are going to be excellent riders because
Oh
we've
yeah.
got so many people in the community. We've got Cheryl in here in support of us. We've got all kinds of people here.
Oh yes.
We've got
I think
horsemen.
there's so many things and so much we can do once we come together and do it,
Right.
and we give these opportunities to the youth to allow them to see past their current situation.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
we have, like for me, I have a master's in biology, animal biology, and I've worked with a
Yes.
variety of animals. And I truly believe working with animals gives you
Wow.
compassion. It shows you, it gives you patience and compassion to creatures who either depend on you or they're creatures who you depend on. And when you have to understand that balance between you and Mother Nature, it becomes this remarkable thing of being able to understand compassion and having confidence in oneself, you know. And when I was younger, there used to be a museum called the Lindsay Museum where you
Yes.
could rent pets. They're small pets, like guinea pigs, hamsters, stuff like
Yes.
that, which
Yes.
I thought was amazing. And they took it away, but it showed for me when I rented them, it gave me um, work to do. It gave me something to look
Yes.
forward to when I came home,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
and and I think with We Ride too, those opportunities to take the youth up there to learn what it's like to deal with such large, majestic creatures, for them to trust you and for you to trust them is amazing.
CaT, it's a wonder that we've gotten together. There must be something going on here. Uh, yes, validated, well spoken. Exactly. That's exactly where we are. Exactly where we are. So I'm pretty much ready. I've listened to what is required of me, and I've shown myself to be approved. I'm following the guidelines that the city has now led me to, and I will meet with them and ask in accordance if I be given the opportunity to do my ground to saddle project. It will begin with touch, feed, groom, walk in hand, and it will go
Hmm.
to saddle. I will seek out the best trainers and horsemen. I've got 3 horses now. I've got Nita, I've got Nola, and I've got Denver, and they're all compassionate and they're ready to do the work. But there's gonna it's I'm just so elated about it. All must become involved. Um, but for me, We write to Oakland Youth Equestrians, community, building strong community through the equine experience, supporting one another, opting in high skill, seeking out the best, because young people, our leaders, are going to have to be trained for leadership, mentorship. We have to become math us and scientists. We have to be think about numbers. Young girls who hook up with horses and know numbers, baby. That's just my theory. It's said that young girls in their teens should be coupled with horses in that experience to ground them for their next path in life, so that they can connect and begin that relationship and understanding of self and another human being. So we know about teenagers and girls. And horsemanship, definitely a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge.
Hmm.
From this program are going to become scientists, they're going to become uh, um, uh, uh, there's some very nice young farriers in the area. We need some more veterinarians, certainly.
Hmm.
We do need veterinarians by far. We need more agriculture. We can grow a lot of things too. We can.
Yeah, we need more researchers, people
We
who
need
go out
more
and do the
researchers.
research. Yeah,
We
all of
need
this
more
can lead to
math.
that.
We need
Mhm.
more math. We need more math. You know, at one point, one of my joys and my desires and my dream, because I do a lot of it, with the pod project that I was thinking of, is to couple math and horses together and get some very skilled math teachers who can gate kids along at a pretty rapid pace by use of technology, and move them individually in a strong way. And we would incorporate it into our horse program, which means that we would ride and ride good, be
Well, that's
seen.
awesome. I know of a black male math teacher at Montera. His name's Dana. He would probably be great. And but rhythmic trotting horses, that's all math. All of it is math.
All math,
And
all math.
speaking of math, in the chat we got the Black Math Academy asking who are some famous black horsemen and horsewomen, cowboys and cowgirls. And the number one thing I'm gonna point people to, I'm pretty sure to have seen, is The Harder They Fall, the recent
Right?
movie that came
Yes.
out, and all those characters are black, and all of those
Yes.
characters are real.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
there is a lot of black cowboys and cowgirls, and there's a lot that we don't talk about because as they ventured west, there was a lot of black cowboys and cowgirls, cow women who did the writing, who did the finding out, going into the new parts or the new places and mapping it and doing all of that. They just, was erased from history as they like to do with
Mhm,
us.
mhm, mhm. Well, I will say, let's hook you up with the Bill Pickett Rodeo.
Yep. Bill Pick a rodeo.
Um, Check out Mr. Trey Halsey. If you
Okay.
want to know of a today cowboy, Trey Halsey, look him up. Riding
Okay.
very well. We've got some young men in this area. Oh, what's a very nice young man? We've got young people who are bringing young people and horses together. Everybody has a different way in which they approach it. Everybody has a
Hmm.
different format. Everybody, you know, there are different ways of doing things. No particular one way can be counted as exact and right if we're all working on it together. Let me just say that. So we've got sub communities, okay? We've got we've got Bill Pickett Rodeo. Just query the Bill Pickett Rodeo and check out Mr.
Hmm.
Ray Halsey. Okay. Check out the Compton Cowboys. A lot of Western cultural growth in Compton with horses and young people. Trey Halsey, yeah. Trey Halsey will do. The Black Math Academy. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, yes, let's do it. So I'm so glad to be here. I'm gonna keep moving, and I'm thinking that I'm certain that good things are gonna happen. because
Mhm.
everybody's here in support of it. I'm going to present my program, and I already have. I just have to um, bring everyone together in it. I've been sought out. People have said, oh, we're going to talk with you. We need to talk with you. Yes, we see you. Okay. Well, I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
here, and I'm ready and willing to work to get the job done, particularly for the kids of all districts of Oakland, and to bring up a just, more just, and equal experience for everyone, and to build a community that Oakland definitely already is, but we're expounding upon. And I think by bringing our young people together with horses, we can assure ourselves some leaders of the future.
Oh yes, absolutely. And the Black Math Academy also asked, how would cooperation work, math and equestrian I can't
Equestrian
even say the
math.
word equestrian, all of it work together. I mean, for me, I see science in so many things that people can question whether science there or not, and I feel like math is the basis of science, technology, and engineering. And so,
Hmm.
for in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but if you have youth tracking horses as they run or as they trot, how many times their feet hit the ground in a minute or something like that. There's so many things you can do with the movement of the horse and add math to it,
Oh
and
yes,
have
there's
them
yeah,
make
there's
data from it.
geometry. There's definitely geometry, and there's definitely base structure of numerals. Because you've got structure there that's moving mighty fast. But most importantly, it will bring something in common that includes math that is beyond math as well. It will include something that the kids want to do, a positive reinforcement for something well done. And
Mm,
we know we need only sit to it, the mathematicians here. We need only sit to it to see how math could fit into it, because math is everything, right? So, but I think that additional variable of the horse and being in a team with someone, not only that team of math, but this team of the animal, it just brings a lot of dynamics. I could see a kid saying, "Okay, I'll go over and let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that app, that project." And then you mean we get to go ride for another 3 hours? Cool. Or we get to go walk out the horses, or we get to go plant something or do something. Well, yeah, I
mhm.
think so.
So,
So I
and then
think
I'm gonna go back to his question. He had more questions. So, you have the Buffalo Soldiers. They were very famous Cowboys. And then with The Harder They Fall, there was Mary Fields, Bill Pickett, Jim Beckworth, Nate Love. Um,
right.
let's see, Monroe Grimes, Clyde Grimes, Cuffy. All of those were, and Cherokee Bill and Trudy Smith. All of them were real cowboys, cow women that they
Ah,
portrayed in the movie. So I mean, I had to look it
mhm.
up because I didn't know them all, of course,
Right.
by but
There's so much information here. I'm listening and to all, and I'm trying to keep with this as well. Sherilyn says, yeah, try developing an ideal feeding program for a horse from different grasses and grains.
mm,
There's biochemistry, math, and calculus. That's a physician talking. So
hmm
yes, the math is there, Sherilyn. It definitely biochemistry, math, calculus, grains. We need to know
that's
those
that's
things.
even botany. You got to add botany
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. That's one of the we cover feeding of horses and the different types of grains and grasses. Bermuda versus alfalfa versus, and what the bulk weight is, what's the protein content, and why feed this when and how. That's great information. I did feeding programs for horses from different grasses and grains. Yes, I've never seen the. Okay, yeah, there's a lot going on here. I'm so glad that everybody is here.
I
Um,
just shared a link too for the Black Math Academy. Is the history of the
yes,
Buffalo Soldiers. Check them
yes,
out. They've
yes.
done so much.
Yes. Yes, biology and botany. Yes, Shirley.
Mhm.
Definitely. So our so I have all of these ideas. Yes, the math. I did send a request out to a guy that he's giving away some funds, and he's saying teach the kids about some money and some calculation and stuff. I said, well, what about a little math program with the equestrians? And so I thought, you know, I could see kids saying, okay, let's all sit down and figure this problem out. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go do this.
Right.
Positive reinforcement is very important in learning, particularly when the group advances together on some things, and there's also individual growth. When I talk about math, not all kids are at the same place, right? So each one can come to a base if they're tracked individually and gated from where they are to get to a certain point. And I'm sure that it can be done so that kids can end up in a win-win after a period of time. COVID has got the kids a little bit behind in our math and our sciences. We're pretty good with our language skills, I find, with a lot of kids. They can read, and the internet's got them reading, and they're doing lots of apps, so they can absolutely apply those concepts and do some reading comprehension. Most um, but the math, we're really needing to get our young leaders together because we got some work to do. We've got work to do.
I do want to say one thing about that is, unfortunately, when it comes to math and science, we're like number 24, 25 in developed countries. So,
Mhm.
our youth definitely could use some guidance in those fields. And if you can do it in a way that they can comprehend it a little bit better, whether it's how much grain do you feed a horse, and at the same time, they get an opportunity to deal with horses, I think then hopefully we can get them going towards that higher level of mathematical skills.
Exactly.
And I see Adamika asking about resources for parents looking to enhance their child's math skills. I would point you to the Black Math Academy because he would probably be the
I've
person
been
who
hearing
can answer you better.
I've been hearing some good things about the Black Math Academy.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
he'll be able to answer that question a little bit better than me. I love science, math. I
Yeah.
could do it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have the resources.
Yeah.
But great question. Thank you. But yeah, I think you could combine work with other nonprofits or work with other organizations and groups to bring that type of information to your program with We Ride Too. So,
I think so. I
yeah, if
think
there's
so.
other
I'm
ways you
certain of
can
it.
learn.
I'm certain of it. I mean, it could become part of curriculum indeed. I've started a curriculum in Canvas for horsemanship and some various things, but I can see very much the grain and the study of and math as it pertains to that, which Sherilyn mentioned, presented on various levels that could be introduced. And, in Canvas, as you're probably aware of, you almost gate the study and you present information in a formidable way and give the student or the learner the opportunity to review material in a non-threatening manner and
Hmm.
cross-reference and go back and find answers. Because oftentimes to go back and find the answer is the learning of the process. So it's exciting. So horses have shown up to do all this. Yes, they have. They have
Yes.
shown up to do this.
I will, and I love making connections and seeing all of us prosper. I think there's enough food on the table for us all to eat. And I do want to shout out Adamika. She has a nonprofit called Self Esteem that deals with Black girls, but girls, mostly girls of color, in science, tech, and in engineering and math. So
Yes,
maybe
yes.
taking those girls up and seeing the horses and being able
I
to,
would absolutely love it.
yeah,
Hey,
I think the
we
girls would
can
love it as well.
we can do that. We can do some touch, feed, and groom and walk in hand. Yes, we can, and lift some feet. Uh,
Hmm.
we can do that. That's very much at hand. I would love to talk to. Adamaka more about that. That would be exciting. That
I
would
think
really be
so. I think that
exciting.
would be great for those girls as well.
Yes, yes, yes. So we network, and I'm sure many ideas will come forth. And I'm just happy to have the opportunity and sit with everyone who's here. And I appreciate everyone being here and contributing in the manner that they have. I'm on course to get some kids going. I've got I've got some funding. Facebook raising, was able to raise $2,000 Giving Tuesday with some other donors. Sandra's family, a charity fund, stepped forward. Summit Joint Performance has stepped forward. Um, Silicon Valley Foundation has stepped forward. Um, and many other just people, equestrians, who know the benefit of it have come forward to say, hey, I know that is going to make a difference in a young person's life because it's made a difference in mine. People that have experienced it themselves. You know.
Hmm. I think dealing with horses is a life changing experience. And to me, I had an opportunity to take my son when he was about 6 or 7 months to see a special someone's horses.
Oh,
And,
oh
I
yes,
thought he would have been scared, and he was not scared. He was touching them, letting letting him
yes.
nibble on his face. And I hope to bring him up with Rewrite 2 to be able to interact with those horses as well.
Certainly, we'll certainly do that. And give a shout out to everybody that's reaching out to young kids and horses. I know there's many in our community that are in front and behind the scene doing that.
Hmm.
So and supporting the work. So I'm just really appreciative, and I'm moving forward, and I'm happy about what's happening. Happy about our new horses, happy about the young people that will be coming. The rain has got us a little bit slowed down, but that doesn't stop you from getting out with horses. You can always get out at the right time. So I've got people calling and saying, "Can we come?" I says, "But it's a lot. This is pretty cold outside,
Right.
But horses are out there. We can bundle up and we can go. We're going everywhere else, so we can certainly go outside to see a horse.
So we got this
Um,
question: how did you get into horses in the first place?
it's
She's kind of explained that in the beginning, but if you want to give a little tie up into how you did that.
Okay, so like a lot of things, there isn't a lot of inclusiveness or equity for some reason, whatever it might be. It may be socioeconomic, it just may be biases, it may be those not wanting others to experience those things that they're experiencing. But as a person of color, I was told that Black people don't ride, and that's not true. And so I decided, um, along with my granddaughters and following behind some leaders, that yes, we do ride, and that young people are going to have the opportunity to have that experience if they desire, particularly the kids in Oakland. The kids that don't get a chance to come up to the redwoods, don't get a chance to go on the trail, don't get a chance to. But now, if kids want to ride, that I'm hoping that that opportunity will be availed to them. Not everybody has to ride a horse, but they should be able to come and be with horses if they would desire to. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
awesome. And I'm going to, at this moment, share your website, and you can talk about it if you want to. But here
yeah.
we go. Is We
Okay,
Ride Too?
that's We Write Too. That's our homepage with our logo and a young writer who's been writing very much in the spirit of writing. Um, there's a donate button, even that allows you to donate if you would like to join in with us more in what we're going to be doing this coming year. Um, let's see, can I scroll down? Yeah, go to the website. Okay, so this is the formation of it. All of these pictures are actual pictures that we've taken over the year. We've had families come out. We have a young man, the center photo, who is now um, taking care of a 7 horse herd. He started out riding with We Ride Too. He's a very accomplished rider now. very skilled, very much an equine specialist. Um, and then we have another young lady who came during a college break with a need to get away in the far left, and we're talking about the horse's code and why we should groom the legs and why we should lift the feet. And then to the far right, there's a woman that came with her daughter, but became very bonded to our mare and came often, brought her daughter, and then began walking the horse in hand. So these are all experiences. You need to scroll down
Mhm.
anything more on this page. Ah, yes, community,
There you
community, community. Yeah. Just basically my story. This is our encounter mare, Nita. She's very intuitive. She's a very good listener. She understands pretty much where you are in your emotion at any given time, and she will give back to you what you need to bring you back to center. You get to concentrate with her. Um, and the hand symbolizing we're all in. Yes, we are all in. All of us
That's
are in.
awesome.
We are all in. Um, and I must give myself a little pat on the back. I actually did this website myself. Um,
Oh, okay.
yes,
It's a great website.
myself, because I needed to get a link onto Facebook in time for Giving Tuesday last year. I thought, oh my God, I got to get that button because we've got some encounters coming up and we have a budget of what we needed. In nonprofits, you're always chasing your budget and
Mhm.
allocating and planning for the future and reprioritizing your goals and making realistic decisions about what you're doing and telling your story, just telling your story. So yeah, I did that website. Um, I'm very proud of it. It needs more work. I'm sure there's some young people. I've been seeking out young people who are in technology. I went over to what's the tech center over off of 73rd? The
You're talking about the Glover Tech Center?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
Mhm.
sought them out for help. And actually, I went there and I met some young men last summer who were there doing game construction and building technology games and that sort of thing. And they would come every Friday. And I showed up a couple of times because I was trying to recruit some young men to ride, so I showed up, but I'm gonna go back to that tech center. Yeah. So yeah, that was my website.
Well, Dominica says she may be able to help you with your website or find some resources. So
Good.
that's good. And
That's good.
Black Math Academy said, you mentioned rodeo. Do you have skills lassoing, roping up animals, things like that?
Yes, I know some cowboys that do, and they do it quite well. Um, uh, quite well. So if you have an interest, I can hook you up with somebody. Sounds
Yeah.
like you're ready to do some writing.
it,
Where
I,
is it?
that would be the Bill Pickett rodeo, right? They have those cowboys who do stuff like that.
Yeah. I could tell you a couple of names. I'll get to you a couple of names locally. I don't want to be shouting them out about all their skills and everything, but
Right.
there are some black cowboys here in our area who do all of these things, who are very excellent horsemen. I can think of two right now that would welcome talking to you about it and showing you those skills if you had an interest.
So on that note, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
They could go to the website www.wewrite2.org, or they can visit because everybody I think is on Facebook. They can go to our nonprofit site. We write to. You
Okay.
can you can email me. Everything you can get my phone number. You can get the website address. You can get the Facebook information if you go to the website. And I do welcome everybody to make contact with me if they so desire. And I really appreciate the opportunity to have been able to meet and be with everybody this afternoon to talk about this dream. And it's no longer a dream, it's actually coming into fruition with a lot of people giving support and having a mission to form community and get young people together, working the plan. We're working the plan for the future. Working the
The
plan for
the
the future.
We Ride and the number two on Facebook.
We ride TOO. We ride too.
Yeah. We score ride to
Right,
TO.
right, 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 right.
So that's a way to do it. And, and I thank you so much for taking the time tonight to talk to me about yourself and your organization, how you got started. I love it. You have my phone number and I have yours. So we're going to be.
We've got some things that we
Mm-hmm.
need to work out.
Exactly. And so before we go, is there any last things you want to say or shout out or anything like that?
Oh, thanks for the opportunity. Um, um, well, in light of the upcoming year, and I know that there is often a need to give tax deductible donations because coming into the new year, you have to settle out your finances and equal out your revenue. If you find that we might be a fit for you, or that you think that you would like to support what we're doing this upcoming year, I welcome you to donate to We Ride Too. You could do it via PayPal. PayPal me at ground to saddle, or you can go to the Facebook page. But we are moving and we're doing good things. And we're definitely going to be doing some very stellar work. And we're going to give our kids the best of these things that are at hand for them because it's a window of opportunity that they deserve and they should have the right to be exposed to.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And before we go, Black Math Academy, I see you. You ask a lot of questions, which is great. You should
I
always
live in
ask a
New
lot of
Jersey.
questions. So you can share. I ask a lot of questions too. That's why I have a podcast because
There
I
you
want to know. So you can
go.
always
Right.
hit me up. I've interviewed so many people that maybe I can help you. And if you ever want to be on the podcast, also hit me up. Doesn't matter that you're in New Jersey. I like to
There
talk to
you go.
everybody. And
There you go. There
if
you
we
go.
can support you in any way, let me know. But
So
go ahead.
I see the Black Math Academy. Does he have our Facebook page, right? It says We Write Too. But you did correct.
Yeah, we underscore ride TOO.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be the best bet. But yeah, that's amazing. You're amazing, everyone. I just want to
Everyone, thank you
shout
so
out
much.
everybody. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. If you have more questions, thoughts, you can always shoot Miss Pat an email about We Ride Too. If you have questions or anything about what I do, shoot me an email. Super easy. Bobino at gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere like that. And thank you. And I hope everyone is having a good evening. And thanks for joining me on my last podcast of 2021.
Okay. And thank you so much, Kat.
You're welcome.